So, imagine there's this secret society, an underground club that claims it has cracked the code, a system that can turn any man into a master of seduction. Today, we're diving deep into the game, Neil Strauss's wild and controversial journey into the world of pickup artists.
But here's the thing, we're not going to start at the beginning. We're going to jump right into the chaotic end. Picture this, a rented mansion in the Hollywood Hills. It's supposed to be the headquarters for the world's greatest pickup artists, their ultimate clubhouse. But instead of a celebration, it's the scene of a total meltdown.
And the scene is just grim. The man on the floor, the one having a complete breakdown, is a guy named Mystery. He's the superstar of this world, the guru who supposedly figured out how to get any woman he wanted. And right now, he's falling apart. This one moment really is what our whole story hinges on. How in the world did it all come to this? To understand the collapse, we have to go all the way back to the beginning to see how the game even started. So, let's meet our guide through this whole bizarre world, the author, Neil Strauss. Before he became a legend in this community, he was just a regular guy who felt totally, completely invisible to women. On paper, Neil Strauss was a success. I mean, he was a writer for the New York Times. But when he looked in the mirror, that's not what he saw. He saw a failure, a guy he called unattractive and just deeply, deeply insecure about his love life.
Well, it turns out he wasn't alone, not by a long shot. He stumbles upon this secret internet community that had a name for guys just like him, an AFC, which stood for Average Frustrated Chump.
And you know how he gets into all this? It wasn't even on purpose. It was a work assignment, of all things. A book editor called him up about some online seduction manual and asked him to investigate this hidden community. And that one phone call sent him tumbling down the rabbit hole.
Okay, so what was this secret knowledge? What was the magic formula that promised to turn these average frustrated chumps into confident alpha males? Well, to find out, Strauss had to go learn from the masters themselves.
And what he finds is this whole landscape of gurus, all competing with each other. You had Ross Jeffries, who used a kind of hypnosis. There was David D'Angelo, who was all about being cocky and funny. But the undisputed king, the guy everyone idolized, was Mystery. So Strauss doesn't just, read a book. No, he dives in head first. He drops $500 for one of Mystery's live workshops. For 4 nights, he and a handful of other guys get classroom lectures, limo rides to clubs, and then they're forced to go out and practice on real women, right there in the field. At the heart of everything Mystery taught was this one sequence. See, his whole idea was that seduction wasn't some kind of magic. It was a science. It was a linear, step-by-step process that you could repeat over and over again. From finding the group all the way to closing the deal, every single move was planned. And to make this system work, you had to use these really specific and frankly, kind of weird tactics. Peacocking meant you had to wear outrageous stuff, like cowboy hats, light-up necklaces, just to get noticed. The 3-second rule was all about killing your hesitation. Just walk up to someone instantly. And then there was the most infamous one, the neg, a backhanded compliment designed to lower a woman's confidence and make her seek your approval. So now he has this playbook, right? But for Neil Strauss, it wasn't enough to just learn the game. No, he wanted to become someone else entirely. And I mean, he really went for it. The glasses, gone. He shaved his head, started hitting the tanning salon. He wasn't Neil, the insecure writer, anymore. In this world, he was Style, the confident pickup artist. And the crazy part? It started working. Like, really working. He got so good at the system that his own exploits became the stuff of legend. For him, this wasn't a clumsy struggle anymore. It was a perfectly executed performance, a ballet. Okay, so check this out. This one story perfectly shows how the system worked. He sees these 2 women who've already shot down all the other students. So what does Style do? He walks up and ignores them. He uses a neg to throw them off balance. He demonstrates value in this completely bizarre way. And it works. He walks away with the phone number. For all its weirdness, the system was actually getting results. But of course, there's always a price to pay, right? As Style and his friends reached the absolute pinnacle of their world, the whole thing started to crack. The foundation just began to crumble. You know that sense of brotherhood they had at the beginning? That shared secret? Well, it just soured. It turned into this ugly, toxic competition. A new wave of guys came in who were developing techniques not just to pick up women, but to actively sabotage other pickup artists right in front of them.
Two. 2 years. Think about that. That's how long Strauss was completely lost in this lifestyle. For 2 solid years, he wasn't really Neil anymore. He was Style. And his real life, his writing career, his old friends, his family, it all just faded into the background. The game became everything.
And this really gets to the deepest, darkest cost of the game. In their quest to turn human interaction into a simple formula, they started seeing women not as people, but as targets. But the real kicker, the sad irony, is that in doing so, they lost a huge piece of their own humanity, too.
Which brings us full circle, right back to that guy crying on the carpet. Mystery, the architect of this whole world, the master of the game, couldn't use his own system to build a real, lasting, loving relationship. His techniques were great for attraction, but they were useless for connection. And when his girlfriend left him, his entire persona just collapsed. So, in the end, after all of it, Strauss's journey leaves us with this one massive question. When you strip it all away, what is the game? Is it a genuine path to building self-confidence? Or is it just a really effective and ultimately empty manual for manipulation? That's the question at the very heart of this entire story.